10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Chapter systems are offline.
Welcome to the Banter Club. Join myself, Mark, along with TY, Jackie, and Mahal as we talk all things sport. We will definitely trash your team, and if you don't like it, we'll definitely tell you your favorite footballer is a tax evader. Join us every week on the Banter Club.
Are we really doing this?
Of course, we are, definitely.
All right, welcome to it. Another episode of the Banter Club, the one and only podcast that is called for family meetings. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, this is a very, very dangerous podcast. So when you listen with a very good ear, because hey, these gents have a lot to talk about. We are joined today by Mahal. Mahal, you good?
Good. How is it?
Good, man. We've got Jackie in the building as well.
What's up, guys?
What's good? Mark, how you doing? How you holding up?
I'm very Chelsea. How are you?
Hey, violence so early in the podcast. And the Kaizer Chiefs #1 fan, Bennett Parker's #1 fan, Una joins us as well. You good?
Fellow South Africans, I'm good.
That's absolutely amazing. It's been a not so hectic week in sport, but it's been a very interesting week in sports. I think we're gonna kickstart it off with Lloyd Harris. He's officially made it into the top 50 of the ATP rankings, which is very, very good for a South African to make it into the ATP 500 ranking, because it's super, super good. Kevin Anderson is sitting at number 92, who's the only South African on the list. And these are the only two Africans that are on the list. So just a quick one from you, gents. Why are there no Africans in the tennis fraternity? Let me start with Jackie.
For me, I think if you look at what's happening in the country right now, a lot of focus is not on sports like tennis. We don't have a proper system in place to develop tennis. And that is why we don't have a lot of individuals or a lot of participants in tennis. And what's also very interesting, if you look at schools tennis in particular, you find that only a few individuals actually end up playing professional tennis because of the lack of resources or the lack of structures in place to actually try and develop or try and make them compete with the best.
True. Una, your thoughts on this one?
I was just going through the Davis Cup list of nations that have national teams of tennis, and it's really sad. I'm like really looking, and only I can just pick up South Africa and Zimbabwe from Africa. It's a really, really sad situation. I think we need to move towards a direction that doesn't separate that. We need to move towards that direction. I think if we can take some of the sports to the communities, to the deep rural side, to the townships, we can really, really unearth great talents.
Thanks. I agree. Mark, your thoughts on this one?
No, if you have a proper look at especially Africa's participation in any sort of sporting code where you need more than just like the playing shoes or like, for example, cricket, most African countries don't play. You look at hockey, most African countries are considered weak opponents. You look at tennis, you need to buy a racket. And I know it looks very, but obviously in cricket and in tennis, the better your equipment, the better player you can be, So I think generally in Africa, anything that really needs equipment becomes very difficult to come by, and I think that's probably why we don't see as many Africans in these sporting codes. So yeah, it's. I mean, again, it does also come back to how tennis is also viewed as an elitist sport, almost very similar to golf, where you also don't find many Africans. Very similar to okay, cricket not so much, because cricket is more, yeah. But I think again it comes, yeah. These sporting codes are it's yeah.
Equipment is the problem. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. And Mahal, your thoughts on this one, quick?
I will beg to differ with my fellow colleagues here to say that it seems as if we're not going anywhere, especially looking at South Africa. And I would like to look at the Mitso brothers, which is we have the youngest one who's Kololwami Menso, which is 20 years of age, I believe so. And then you have Bo Sipesi Sotando Menso, black young players playing South Africa. I mean, when we talk about Kolo, is ranked number 12 when it comes to the junior tennis, and then with Sipho is ranked number 1 for the Illnos, which is one of the best when it comes to the youngest the junior tennis. So to have those guys being black and representing South Africa at that age, I think it's quite phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to see them grow within the tennis fraternity. And of course, I mean, once they've reached the ages of the likes of Lloyd Harris and Anderson, I believe that we're likely to see them in the top 10 or the top 5.
I think that's a very good sentiment, but I mean, you've got Bafana where we can win the under 12, under 17, under 19. Marawoza Bafana, we can't win anything. So I think junior level is great, but we need to put more effort into this development thing that we do in other sporting codes. I think soccer and rugby and cricket are the 3 main sports rather that everybody just seems to be focused on. Now on the,
I mean, they're growing big. Looking at the way they are doing. I mean, talking about Sipho is overseas right now, representing South Africa. Kolo is still based here in South Africa, but he does time to time go overseas and play and represent South Africa. So I mean, as much as we haven't. I think a lot of people don't know about them because I mean it's the junior tennis, but once they've reached that stage where now they are well, I think the stage where they could participate with the likes of Bo Harris, Anderson, and maybe get to participate with the likes of Nokovic, Roger Federer, that's when we'll start to realize or to see them. But I think everyone should just go check those guys out. The Mensah brothers, those ones are the next future generation when it comes to South African tennis.
No, definitely gonna check them out.
Can I ask one thing? Because I don't know, maybe I misheard Mohau. Did Mohau say Norkovic in the tennis?
Hey, the Kaizer Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, hold on. But Chiefs also has a rugby team last I checked. Maybe there's a tennis team we don't know about. Just by no.
That rugby team.
Yeah, I think that was an experiment. Eh?
Oh my goodness. All right, just let's move on. The Summer Olympics are coming through on the 23rd of July, which is a Friday, 23 July 2021. Sunday, August to the 8th. It's going to be the finale. Now, what are you looking forward to at the Olympics? What is the one thing you look most forward to? Personally, for me, I'm going to say Usain Bolt is no longer participating. I really want to see who's going to come through in the 100 meters. It's going to be a very, very interesting one. Chelsea enthusiast, let's hear from you.
The Olympics, man. Honestly, if you're not watching the athletics, it's the soccer. The other things, I don't understand them. But we'll probably come back with. I'm looking forward to seeing South Africa's performance as a whole, because there's gonna be. I know that the swimming has dropped off a bit. So, and also now with COVID, we aren't seeing or hearing of as many results for the swimmers. But that's going to be interesting to see. Then we have on the track we have obviously Uwakani Simbini. We have Wade, who's probably going to drop the 400 in favor of the 200. So that's going to be interesting. We have some really good sprinters. So it's going to be quite interesting, because who's the guy who finished 8th at, I think, the 2 Olympics back, Anasu Jobadwana is not doing as well. recently. But I mean, if he hits his stride, it's going to be a very interesting track team, especially when it comes to the sprints. So yeah, and then we're probably going to see whether or not I don't know, is Casta running or is she not? What's going on there? Because my understanding is that the Olympic Committee can allow her to run at the Olympics. Just IAAF has a problem with her, so I don't know. Maybe someone can school me there.
I am not too sure. Does anybody have any info on that?
I mean, from my side, I think I've just heard that he just went back to training and running. So I'm not sure if he'll participate when it comes to the Olympics. But for now, I think she's back when it comes to the treatment.
Yeah, I really hope she gets to compete. Jackie, your thoughts? What are you looking forward to with the Olympics? Jackie, you there?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm looking forward to seeing. I think I can. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Hello.
Can hear you.
Okay. I was saying that I'm looking forward to seeing Akani Simbini. Can he finally start performing? Because I think we saw a glimpse of him in the last Olympics, and I think this is probably going to be his Olympics. Wade van Niekerk, can he be consistent and win another Olympic gold medal this time around? Chad Leclos, I'm not so sure about him this time. I think he's been a little bit off form lately, but I think he might get something against this Olympics. But the most important thing for me, I'm looking forward to, is the South African under-23, and I think this could be a group of members of the South African national team that can actually potentially reclaim the glory that South Africa needs in South African football. If you look at the South African under-23, they've got a lot of quality players, the likes of Ngowa there, who can actually make a name for themselves on Tokyo soil. So I think if they can actually compete there, they can potentially do very well, and potentially they might even end up getting offers across Europe or across other countries. So I think I'm specifically looking forward to the South African under-23.
Yeah, super. Mahal, your thoughts? What are you looking forward to?
I'll stand with Jake on this one. I'm looking forward to see the under-23. I mean, they've got a decent squad, so I hope that they reach far, even maybe win the gold medal. So I'm looking forward to them. But Mark spoke about Anas Ojobodwana. We are yet to see what he has for South Africa. So I'm hoping that come this Olympics, he will show us what he has for us. Because I mean, I believe is one of the best that we have currently. As much as we could talk about Akani Simbini, as much as we could talk about Wayne van Niekerk, but I think Anas Ojobodwana is one of the best that we have in the country, and hopefully he'll show us what he's made of. He's made out of.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Una, your thoughts?
I just really hope that Casta's cases go as positively as we want them, because Casta is the national team of South Africa. We know that everyone else is just making jokes. Casta is the only national team we consider over the side. But in any case, the one thing that I'm most excited about with the Olympic side is that Sascock signed a sponsorship deal with Mr. Price Sport. So I think that is one thing that's great, that we're going to have a South African brand out there to the world stage. So that's the biggest.
As long as they give us a decent tracksuit, we don't want to deflop with those tracksuit that they should give those players a decent tracksuit.
Imagine swimming in a tracksuit before you went into those tracksuits were not on, eh? But another thing, there's a name here, Luxolo Adams in the athletics. Luxolo Adams is one person I think we should also give an eye to. Is someone to watch to the Olympics. I hear last month he was second after Simbini in the Gauteng North Athletics, where Simbini dipped under 10 seconds. Luxolo did on 10.0. So I think he can also deep under 10, sub 10 and sub 20 in the 200 meters. So he's one to watch. With the under 23 squad, yes, like Mark said, I think it's Jackie rather. I think it's actually a good platform for them to showcase their talents, and I really believe in the group that we have. Hopefully, Safa will organize a few friendly matches for them to prepare before we go to the Olympics. And yeah, I'm actually quite positive. I don't think there's ever been a South African football side that went through the group stages into the knockout stages in any international competition. And I think this team right here can be the first one.
No, can't wait for it. I really, really can't wait for it. I really can't wait. I really thought I was gonna be running at this year's Olympics, but hey, McDonald's got the best of me. I'm not even gonna fight.
I get it, God.
No cap, no lies detected there. All right, and then the Proteas in Pakistan. Proteas just lost the series 2-1 rather. And Pakistan really showed us flames. Should South Africa be losing to Pakistan? I mean, I don't get it. Ona, your thoughts on this one?
But I like cricket though. Like they still play cricket. I mean,
and they
the only entertainment I received was when Cock pointed to was it when he pointed somewhere else and distracted the Pakistan team in the T20. That's the only entertainment that gave.
How do you feel about that?
It's psychology. How if you're not mentally strong enough, don't be here. If someone's pointing at something during a football game and you are about to score, you're gonna blame the player. No. If it's a rugby game and someone
it's also deception.
You know what I mean? It's part of the sport.
Yeah.
I can't be pointing at any Chihuahua there and you looking at it all the time. What's a focus now, Pella?
I don't get it. Dudes must just focus on their sport. Focus on what's happening in the field of play.
But I don't get why. I guess there are rules since they call it the gentleman's game, but I don't get why the match De Kock was charged his match fee. Can they give him his money?
Well, I think they've agreed to reverse it. I'm not sure, but they said that apparently they find out, it wasn't De Kock's fault. Apparently, he was just pointing to one of his fellow players. And then I think with Zamane as well came forward to say, okay, no, man, De Kock wasn't pointing at me or wasn't trying to distract me. But, he even said that he was watching the reason why he turned his face, he was watching his fellow player thinking that maybe the run out is on the other side, which I don't understand. Or how do you think the run out is on the other side, whereas De Kock is the one who has the ball? So it's a bit confusing, but I think from the last time that I saw, I think they said that they'll reverse the charge. Well, they won't charge him. They won't charge him.
I think that sport needs some more entertainment, and that's the entertainment we want.
No, but rules are rules, Chief. Rules are rules.
Wait, can I come in on the rules part? Okay. Look, there's something in the preamble of the laws of the game. They speak to the spirit of the game, né? But my issue with this is that in the game there's a lot of things that are said, and one of the things that can be said is non-striker, which probably De Kock said something like that, or throw it at the non-striker's end, which happens in a game. Whether or not he pointed is not the point. The onus is on the player to ensure that he has made his ground. So whether or not De Kock did not speak to that guy and say, hey, you can relax now. You're not going to... He didn't say that. So I feel, first of all, that it's very unnecessary what everyone is saying. It's not in the rules of the game, because the spirit of the game is something that is very subjective. So something like what the Australian team did, that where they use sandpaper, that's a contravention straight. And it's illegal within the laws of the game, because you can only use your saliva. Not anymore because of COVID. But anyway, it's nonsense that everyone is saying that De Kock is in the wrong. Because the guy who had to make his ground, he didn't make his ground, because the ball came from I can't remember where it came from, but the closest stumps were at the non-striker's end. So naturally, that's where most players would throw the ball, to the non-striker's end. But because now that guy, for whatever reason, he looked back and the ball did go to the striker's end, and that's how he got dismissed. So I don't think the cock is in the wrong.
I also don't get it.
I mean, but to answer,
yeah,
TY, you've asked the question to say that was South Africa meant to lose against Pakistan? What's disappointing is the news that I found out. I think around 7 players, especially senior players, the Proteas left the team before even the last game was played. They had to leave the team to go back to the PL, join their respective teams, which is, I think it's quite disappointing to say that. How do you leave when we are yet to finish the ODI series? Forget about the other, the T20, but we're not done with this one. So how do you guys decide to leave? And so we have a couple, I think 7 players, including those ones who are injured, won't be part of the Proteas team coming to the T20, where they'll have to play against Pakistan as well. So it's quite disappointing to see that they have left before the ODI came to an end, and they won't be part of the T20 series.
Money.
Yeah.
Money, I was about to say.
But Chief, respect your country. At least allow the last game to finish. Say that, okay, we've finished the ODI series. Maybe even if they were here up until the T20, we wouldn't know. They should say that, okay, we were here for the ODI and then leave. But they left before the last game was played, or rather came to an end. So it's quite disappointing to have senior players, the likes of Rabah, that say that they're gone now. They won't be part of the team coming to the T20. I mean, as much as there's money there, but can't you respect your country?
But okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Remember, first of all, there's a contractual agreement between the players and those franchise clubs in the IPL. So there's already a money element attached to it. They will make way more than what they make at the Proteas in India. So there's that. Secondly, the problem with the current setup in cricket is that, I mean, it's almost inconsequential. Yes, English. It's difficult for them to say, you know what, the series is very important, because honestly speaking, it's a series. You'll play another series next time. So there needs to be, international cricket needs to be set up in a format whereby all the games that they play have consequences, and there are, because right now you're only worried about rating points, whether or not you're going to be number 1, and then you'll get like a mace, or you'll get into the World Cup early. So there needs to be formats that force the teams to actually have the best players available for their countries. I mean, I think England had the same issue where you had players choosing the IPL over England. And it's fair, because remember, these players are going to retire by the age of like 35 to close to 40. And after that, they need to fend for themselves. So if they're going to get more money elsewhere, that's where they're going to go. CSA had a problem with people taking Colpack contracts in England. Yeah. Again, money is very important. It's something that you can't overlook.
So Mark Balch is the one to be blamed when it comes to this situation. You should have chosen the younger players. You should have chosen the younger players who maybe they are participating in the
about patriotism, but I fully get what he's saying. And after what Mark said, I think, yes, cricket needs to move towards that direction where you have, like in football, where you know that everything stops with club football. It's now international football. So I think they need to start playing in seasons where you know that this is now the season for international. And yeah,
they need to have breaks for it, like international breaks type of thing, like the way soccer does it, because it makes better sense that way. Then there's no need for you to choose.
That's where I'm going. So
tricky, very, very, very tricky. Hey, all right, let's move to my favorite sport in the whole wide world. Let's kickstart it off with the Champions League. So, Ona, are you ready to buy the jersey?
I have no recollection. I'm joking. I'll definitely buy the jersey if they go through. It's still a 2. Is it 2 or 3-0 up?
Okay, just to give a little bit of context, Una said in the previous episode, 2 episodes ago rather, that should Chelsea go through against FC Porto, Mark is getting a brand new Chelsea jersey. And the jersey seems to be coming closer and closer. Ona even has family members on Twitter. Chief, are you sure you're buying this jersey? Mark, are you excited? Are you confident about this bet?
I know it's gonna look very gorgeous on me. I'm going to be loving it.
Hey, no, Ona, let me
That's saving. Wow.
If Sundowns wins the can I also get a Sundowns? Ona?
I'm saying, looking back, that decision was not a good one.
You regret it, yeah.
For the sake of banter, I will honor my promise.
All I'm saying is, if Sundowns wins the league, I'm also getting a jersey. Or what's going on here?
Your chairman will buy you a jersey.
You don't need a jersey. Remember, you need an ANC shirt to go into a stadium for Sundowns. You don't need a football jersey. You just need an ANC shirt. Plus, key election, Ramaphosa.
Jackie Mara, are you hearing the hate? Why are Chelsea fans being singled out? What about us Sundowns fans? Is Jackie here? We seem to have lost Jackie. All right, and then let's move through to the PSL. We saw also what happened with Kaizer Chiefs and Stellenbosch FC. Stellenbosch scoring 2 goals, and then Chiefs coming back twice to level the scores 2-2. Let me start with Mark. Mark, your thoughts on that performance?
It was terrible. We need to be honest these days with Chiefs. It was terrible. Okay, fine. They did travel from Africa. So there's that. But it's unacceptable. They can't be put under pressure first for them to perform. They need to start performing from the get-go. I mean, especially if you've traveled, you need to ensure that, again, first half, you give it your all. If you can get the lead, maybe get 2 goals if you're really lucky. And then second half, what you do, you just keep possession of the ball, save energy. Because, I mean, by that time, you're going to be tired because you have traveled and you've played an extra game than your opponent. So, again, I feel like game management really needs to be better with Amalkos.
Hey, it's going to be tricky because now they've already left for Horoya FC, and Jackie's already saying Horoya is going to win 2-0. Are Chiefs going to make it out of the Champions League group stage?
No.
This man did not
big no. Big no.
Doesn't respect the country, this man.
A big no.
Why are you saying
representing the country?
Jackie.
Which country? Yeah.
Jackie. The Kaizer Chiefs is on a 6-game unbeaten streak. And when last did you hear about load shedding? When Kaizer Chiefs is doing well, there's no load shedding, Pella. So respect us. We are going through.
Okay. Out of those 6 games, how many games did you win?
3.
How many goals did you score?
Let me quickly check that for you.
3.
We scored 2 against Stellenbosch, 1 against Wydad, 1 against the Pirates. It's 4 now.
In all the games.
How many?
4 in 4 games.
4 in 4 games. So out of the 6 games, you only scored 4 goals. And you're going away against a Horoya team that is very dangerous at home. And you're telling me that you're going to win. And bear in mind that you've got Kuhn in goal. You don't have Norkovic. Where are you going to get the goals? Are you going to get the goals from Kambole?
All we need is just go 1 goal and then just stand by the poles and block all the balls.
Oh, and Ghana, you guys have a great defense. Né? You just conceded 2 goals against Stellenbosch yesterday on Tuesday. What makes you think that going away against Horoya, you'll get something from there?
In the 6 games that we've only conceded 3, and it's only in 2 games of those 6 games.
Maraona. Just because you won against an under-13 team here, you think you're going to go away? Horoya and you win.
I have the hope.
No, I'll remind you.
But we don't really need the win, though.
Well, you can come in and promise to buy Mark the shirt if Kaizer Chiefs won.
Stop moving away from your responsibility. That is you. That is between you and Mark. I know nothing about that one there. Okay, let's make a deal. If Chiefs goes through, nah, if Chiefs goes through, I'll buy you a Sundowns shirt.
My
Sundowns shit.
man.
No, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't need
Yeah,
that.
man.
A Sundowns
I'll
shit.
get you the new Arsenal shirt next season.
It's the
Ajax
Ajax.
Light.
I'll gladly accept it. I have
Okay,
hope that
deal.
we'll go.
I
When
know.
have you
And
read that thing one day, man?
if Chiefs loses, nah, you're now moving to Sundowns. You're no longer a Chiefs supporter.
No. I'd rather not take the Arsenal shirt. Then. Die hard. We can be number 15th in the PSL. I'll still support Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah, but now let's go back one second. I think for me, if you look at Kaizer Chiefs, guys, even the way in which they played yesterday on Tuesday, it was very disappointing, honestly speaking. You could even see Gavin Hunt, he was very disappointed. I don't even understand how Stellies lost that game. I don't get how they lost that game because it reminded me of the game between Stellies against Sundowns, where Stellies were in control throughout the entire game and they made two stupid mistakes for Sundowns to score those 2 goals to eventually win and get 3 points. But if you look at Chiefs, it was as if in the first half they were playing as if they are the away team who looking for a point, and Stellies is the home team. So now, and it also one thing I also realized is that if you look at the starting 11 from Kaizer Chiefs, a lot of questions were raised. You start with what's this guy, the goalkeeper, Agpay. He won't be there on Saturday against Horoya. You've got Kuna on the bench. Why didn't you start with Ichimil and Kune? You've got Nurkovic. You start with Nurkovic, and you know Nurkovic won't be playing over the weekend. Why start with Nurkovic? And what other thing that really one other thing that really surprised me is that Kama Billet only played, I think Pungu played like the last 10-15 minutes, and I have a feeling that against Horror he's probably going to start the game, but I don't think he will make an impact because of match fitness. So there's a lot of problems with Kaizer Chiefs right now, and I don't think, honestly speaking, they can get something at all against Horoya. Horoya might just get all 3 points.
I see them getting all 3 points as well. Mahal, you're very quiet. What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, well, Jakey, we know that we have problems. It's been mentioned since the beginning of 2020, the beginning of COVID-19. But I'll agree with you on one thing. Tuesday's game, I think we should have taken that game as sort of a practice match for the upcoming game against Horoya. But the way we played on Tuesday, it was so disappointing. Stellenbosch should have won that game, but we all know they are here or there. So I mean, they had to give away 1 point and throw away 2 points. So, but nonetheless, looking at the way Chiefs is performing when it comes to the Champions League, I mean, all they need, I think, right now, it's to score a goal, and then as much as Horoya score a goal, they make sure that they end it on a 1-1 or 2-2. Horoya shouldn't win, which it will give us an advantage to move into the next round.
Before you continue, I want to remind you something. Bafana needed a point. Bafana needed a point.
Wait, how do you compare Bafana with Kaizer Chiefs?
No, listen to me. It's the same situation. Bafana needed a point away against Sudan. What happened? And one thing I've realized when it comes to Kevin Hunt, he's not going to go for the win. He's going to go for a draw.
Yes.
He's going to be very, very cautious against Horoya. And that is where you're going to realize that Horoya will be like, you know what, this one's, they just came in for a draw. But now the question is, can Chiefs defend for the entire 90 minutes? No, you don't have a defense.
Firstly, we don't have Mulikin Siki as our coach. Secondly, we don't have Denny Jordan as one of our managers. So I think we have sorted.
You've got Bobby.
But
Bobby's worse.
But you have don't you have Molefe as assistant coach there?
No. Well,
But
who's-
remember, let's not
who's
forget
the
that
assistant coach at Kaizer Chiefs?
let's not forget Bafana once beat Spain 1-0. So anything can happen. Games are the same. Miracles do
Also,
happen. But yeah,
so Mark, so you admitting
Sure.
that horror is Spain. So you admitting that horror is Spain. So automatically you know that
but
they're superior than Kaizer Chiefs.
I think
No,
let's
no,
I
no.
think let's not forget here that JK is a
the
person
what?
in the law faculty. So when he argues, it's about technicality. It's not about the facts.
I forgot
No,
that
no,
for a
okay,
second. I was
get-
like, what is going on right now? But now, thank you for giving us that.
you must be very careful. You must be very careful of what examples that you use, because I'm gonna use them. I'm gonna analyze them differently. What I'm saying is this. Gavin Hunt is probably the most cautious coach in the DSTV Premiership. That's why Kaizer Chiefs. You'll find Gavin Hunt might go there with 7 defenders because he just wants to get a point.
The most cautious coaches are actually Middendorp and Steve Compella, but Steve Compella is shielded by the other 2 musketeers.
It does not matter. The fact remains Steve Compella is on top of the league and you are at number 10. Now, my point is that Horoya is going to surprise you guys. The way you all are so confident that you're going to get a point, especially Mohaone, I'm going to remind you.
I'm looking at the
when they
stats,
score
Bob.
those 2 goals. You can tell me
Now-
about the stats, but
Now I just want to follow the stats
Yeah.
to say that, okay, I mean, the stats are looking good when it comes to Chiefs, the previous 4 games. So I'd like to believe that we're likely to continue the run. Whether we have a draw, it should, as long as we score when it comes to that draw, then we are fine. Let's move on.
I'm just hoping for one thing. If Gavin Hunt goes all attack and he actually goes for the kill and he wants 3 points, Chiefs can actually get 3 points there. But if he
now we
goes with the
agree.
mentality that, no, listen to me. If he goes with the mentality that he wants a point, that is very dangerous, because now it means you're gonna sit back and try and absorb the pressure. You cannot absorb the pressure for 90 minutes. You're not Mamelodi Sundowns. You see, you're not Mamelodi Sundowns. You're not Real Madrid. You're Kaizer Chiefs. You get what I mean?
Are you saying Sundowns is Real Madrid?
You know, dude.
I hear
No, so you cannot contain Horoya for 90 minutes. And also bear in mind, it's the same Horoya team that gave Sundowns a lot of trouble. Last season, I think it was 2 seasons back, we played against Horoya. The game ended like 2-2, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So don't go with that mentality that you're gonna get a point against Horoya at away. It's a very tricky team to beat. But if Kevin Hunt goes with the mentality that, you know what, I'm gonna go and try and get the 3 points, then something will happen, most probably. Now the question still remains: does he have does he have the players for the goals? Does he have a defense to protect the team? Because now, if you look at the Kaizer Chiefs, I've always been stressing is that Kevin has a tendency of changing the spot so many times. For example, against I was honestly expecting him to not change the defense so much against Stellenbosch, because I think he brought back Matoho.
Mm-hmm.
He brought back Matoho, and Matoho was nowhere. The goals that still he scored. Where was Matoho? Where was Cardoso? That's the question you should ask yourself. That you cannot change the team constantly and expect to get results. And if he's going to do the same thing against Horoya and change the team so many times or too much, then he's going to have a problem. You guys might not even get a point against Horoya.
Hey, you're spitting facts, Chief. You came here for violence and you're getting for violence. And
when Kaizer Chiefs was drawn with an Angola team, it was said that no South African team has beaten an Angolan team in Angola. Kaizer Chiefs went and won. But now, Jackie here thinks that Kaizer Chiefs won't go against all the odds that they've been facing since the qualification stage. But but Kiki support their Sundowns. What can we say?
No. I'm responding. I'm very impartial right now. I'm very impartial because I want to actually go through to the knockout stages. I want you guys to feel how it is to play the knockout stage because it's probably 2, 3, 4 seasons because next season you're not gonna play in the Champions League. So I would like you guys to actually reach the knockout stages. But the biggest problem I have with your team is the coach. The mentality of Gavin Hunt as a coach, I don't like it at all. That's the problem that I have. So if you guys believe that he's the man to take you guys to the knockout stages, we shall see.
Hey, yeah, no.
TY,
Yeah, man.
moving back to the PSL, since we're supposed to talk about the PSL, did you see Thabiso Kutumela's goal over the weekend
Against Chippa United.
Incredible.
Which one? He
Thabiso-
scored 2.
The second one.
The long
The
range
second one, that was a rocket, man.
Yeah.
That was
That volley.
I think that
that's a
Thabiso
beautiful
Kutumela,
one.
if the league still has that award, the most improved player, I think Thabiso Kutumela should take that one. I think he's in the best form of his life right now. He's
Correct.
not the same type of Kutumela we used to see. Kobara Juju is really doing great since he's gotten that armband and playing in a much deeper role than being an out forward player. He's really doing great, and it's really amazing to see what he's doing. And moving over to Amazulu, I've just realized that Amazulu haven't lost a game in 10 games in the PSL since
They
they
sit in
lost
third.
against Kaizer Chiefs. They haven't lost. Benny seems to be doing something over there. I think that project there and the support from the Zungu family is really doing good for that team. I think Amazulu is one of those teams that we can consider them as one of the big institutions in the country, and them doing good is really great for football. I think if Celtic can also come back into some stable ground, I think that can also be doing good because we cannot keep on having the same teams in the top half of the log. So we need some of these teams to start raising, and Amazulu, it really does look great for them. Also, Golden Arrows is really doing great with Mandla Mngekazi. And then Swallows, really draw. I guess sure. I don't know what's happening there. They started
train is out of
great.
steam.
Do you think they were working on luck?
But I think with Solos, it was good for them to start that way because right now, I doubt they will drop even to person number 13, 14, or 15 because I mean, as much as they're drawing, it might take them maybe under 8 or if they're lucky, they will remain in the top 8, but they will never drop up until person 13 or 17. They won't go to the relegation zone. So I think the way they started it was good for them to say that, okay, now they are tired and now we're seeing the bigger boys now coming through. So as much as they are dropping points game in, game out, getting those draws, we're not going to see them going to the relegation zone. But as much listen to what Una is saying about Golden Arrows. I mean, heads off to Mandla Mngekazi. I've been talking about him when it comes to the Golden Arrows team. He seems to have the right.
So the problem was bad.
With Golden Arrows.
Yeah. Respect your coach.
Please respect Compella.
To be honest, I think yesterday there was this argument on Twitter where Kaizer Chiefs supporters were saying that the slum that Kaizer Chiefs is going through started with Compella. And I think the analysis was that the people were judging Compella, the Kaizer Chiefs coach, not the Sundowns senior coach. So if you look at it this way, when Compella was at Kaizer Chiefs, he didn't do good. When he was at Arrows, he was an average coach. At Sundowns, with the team that he's working with, he's doing wonders. So going back to Golden Arrows, I think now that Mandla Mngekazi is the man calling the shots and not playing the cautious football that Compella we know of in the other teams, not at Sundowns, I think he's doing good. Compella was the problem there.
No,
wait. But let Compella's probably ever since Stuart Baxter left Chiefs, he's been our best coach ever in that time period. So I don't think he was a problem.
Yeah.
I think
Because
he was
the
just very
longest
unlucky
period,
not to win
because
trophies.
he had the longest period compared to the other coaches.
No. But he was competing. I think the only thing that he didn't do was win trophies. Now,
Yes.
of which obviously at Chiefs is a thing that you must do. We've been waiting for 6 years, but I think he was the best coach. He's the only one who really showed that who could actually there was something working there. I think they were just not patient with him because remember after Baxter, it was really a rebuilding phase, and I think something that again maybe the transfers didn't get right because most of those transfers are not his. And it was a bad place because I mean we had
Mark,
Abu Kamal
looking at the facts, points per game, the previous coaches since Stuart Baxter, Compella had 1.6 points per game, and Ernest Middendorp had 1.75.
Yeah, what did Middendorp do? He lost us the league on the last day. So
20 minutes to
those
go.
stats mean
Lost
nothing.
us the league. He
Those
even took
stats
us to
mean
the
nothing
finals.
because
Steve Compella took us to the finals, but he also didn't win. So if actually, so Steve Compella is still not the best coach since Stuart Baxter. It's Ernest Middendorp.
But how can
And
you say
Steve Compella had the longest period.
But hold on.
No.
How is any coach better than the other when none deliver a trophy?
I'm
Exactly.
looking in front of me, points per game. Middendorp has
I-
higher
those-
points per game
Let
than
me tell
Stuart
you something.
Compella.
Stats sometimes lie. Like listen, that guy was at the top of the league for I think the only
Over a
other
year.
time there was less than 12 days for the other teams to be on top of the league. He was there at the top, leading. All he needed was a draw. Mulefinseki vibes. All he needed was a draw. Huh?
How many months?
Nothing.
For how many months? 36 months sitting on the
Over.
top of the log.
So if we're gonna
The
go
only
with
team, the only coach to have been at the top of the league for more than a year, but still not win it. That's history in football. So don't come with 1.7. That guy is the reason why right now Kevin Hunt is having a tough time. That guy that guy cost us. I do not care about stats when it comes to that guy. No. Don't tell me about Ernest Middendorp. Bye, get sharp.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. But
So
going back to the PSL, Stellenbosch played a nice game this past weekend against Chiefs, on Tuesday against Chiefs. But I really feel that Stellenbosch is one of those teams where they'll always be in the league, but they will never do anything. It's just another game. Remember Stoke City back in the days? They were always there beating the big teams or drawing the big teams, but they never really did anything. So Stellenbosch, if they can just solve out that, I think Steve Barker he needs some help. If he can get a strong assistant coach, he can do wonders with that team because they play in glimpses.
No. There's none of that. What needs to happen is Stellenbosch Rupert needs to open that wallet. Plain and simple.
I disagree. I think I agree with Onam. Classic example. The way in which Dimane lost the game between Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs, the game between Sundowns and Chiefs, Barker doesn't know how to manage games. He took out Mendieta against Kaizer Chiefs. The game completely changed. And Mendieta was was very dangerous against Kaizer Chiefs. He really caused problems for the team. He doesn't know how to make a substitution at the right. So what I mean, you find that he's leading a 1-0 lead, and then after that he makes a substitution trying to protect that 1-0 lead. He did the same thing against Sundowns. Sundowns got a goal, and immediately after that, with the last 10 minutes of the game, he tried to defend the 1-1 draw. Downs got the second goal, and they won the game. I think Ona is right. I think they need to get a proper second. Probably have to get an assistant coach, a proper assistant coach who can really assist them in making proper decisions. Because Barker, I don't know if it's lack of experience or what, but he's struggling to maintain the game there for me. And that's where Stellenbosch have lost a lot of points this season. Because if he actually managed the game properly, Stellenbosch would be probably in the top 6 or 7 this season.
Hey.
I think continuing on what Jackie is saying, a team or technical team is really important in terms of how the team does. Because look at what's happening at Sundowns. I think I mentioned this in previous episodes that when you have a all-round team where you know that this one is strong point is this, and this one strong point is this, and someone who consolidates everything, it works out really well for everyone. Look at what's happening. The assistant coach at Amazulu, the one who was at Cape Town City. If we look back how Cape Town City was doing there with Jesus last season, they were really playing enterprising football. They managed their games properly. And the same assistant coach moved over to Amazulu. And look what Amazulu is doing since him and Benny joined. So if you have a very strong technical team that complements each other, I think that's the other thing that attracted Steve Compella to Mandla Nikazi, because I see he worked with him at Free State Stars, at different teams. I think if you get your technical team right, it does go well for the team.
If just to pause you there, if Nikazi finishes top 2, he's gonna join the three brothers there by Sundowns. Well, mark my words. Continue.
At Orlando Pirates, I think the technical team has elders in it. There's Abo Screamer there, there's Floyd Mele there. So I don't know what's happening there. I don't know if Zimbabwe is he happy? He doesn't look like a happy guy.
And I'm going to repeat what I said last time. Orlando Pirates is not coached by Joseph Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe does not coach Orlando Pirates. I'm going to end it right there.
And I've said it before. And remember, I've also said it before to say that, okay, I'm yet to see the style that Zimbabwe has for Orlando Pirates. I mean, the players are playing, but we're not seeing what he's there for when it comes to Orlando Pirates. The players are playing, probably playing individual games, but because Zimbabwe's style is not there when it comes to Orlando Pirates.
He doesn't have a style, Dima.
I like Mohau would say, like, how do you explain playing a football game with you have all your forwards on the bench and your top man is Hoto? How do you explain that? What's happening there? Are they tactically like no man?
You guys as Chiefs fans, you should understand. Zimbabwe is a German. You should understand his tactics. So you know the way in which he approaches games. But for me, I think the biggest problem with Joseph Zimbabwe, and I've been saying it, I think Joseph Zimbabwe is a farmer coach. This guy is not supposed to be in South African football. Pirates needs a proper coach.
Do you think the amount of exceeded Pirates with the elders of the teams there?
Yes. I think to me, Pirates has got the second best squad in South African football.
Yes, they do.
But now the problem is, and it's been the problem for the past 3-4 seasons, and it's the same problem that Sundowns had a couple of years ago. You have a lot of quality players, but they're not in sync. You get me? And only a proper coach will actually bring out the best out of them. But now, if you have got Joseph Zimbabwe, who came to Pirates without winning a trophy, what do you expect from him? What do you expect he's going to give Orlando Pirates? Nothing. But if I was Ivan Kors, if Zimbabwe does not at least win the Nedbank Cup this season, I would fire him and bring back Eric Tinkler. I think he will. No. I think he will manage this crop of players of Orlando Pirates well for me.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you on the Tinkler, because I think Tinkler probably went to Pirates too soon in his career when he was there. And I think now he's got the right experience. He's been at a team that struggled. He's been at a team that somewhat performed with Cape Town City. So I think we underestimate him, but I think he would do well at Pirates. But also wasn't Joseph Zunbauer assistant coach or assistant whatnot to Jurgen Klopp?
Where was this?
No, at Borussia. He's a product of Borussia, most.
Are you sure he wasn't coaching the under 13s there?
Guys, let me check this. This is a lie. Yeah. Mark.
I'm not sure, but he wasn't in the Bundesliga. I'm not sure if it was
Bundesliga. No, but it's impossible.
Let me fact check myself.
Just double check.
Before we wrap up this whole thing, my concern is that last group there, the bottom of the league. I mean, you've played 21 games, you've only won 3 games, and you have 13 points. Black Leopards, I don't know what's happening there. The last time I remember, I think it was 3 weeks back, they announced they have Costa Papic as their technical manager, and then apparently he's responsible to select the starting 11. So I mean, it's quite confusing to say that how. So what's the reason for the coaches as well when it comes to coaching the team? Because I mean, if they're not allowed to select the starting 11, that means that indirectly he's the coach, but I don't see them surviving this season. I see them going out. No, they won't participate within the playoffs. But I see TTM escaping the relegation zone. Chipa will come to number 15, and between Maritzburg and Baroka might be at number 14.
Let me tell you what the common denominator is. Let me tell you what the common denominator is with the bottom 3. All of them have fired and hired coaches like crazy this season. Let's be honest. There's been no consistency. I was watching Sundowns playing again. Was it TTM? And Dylan Kerr was in the stand. Yeah. That man has a Black Leopards tattoo, and you're gonna make him your head coach at another team.
He has Baroka as well.
Yeah,
he has a Baroka. Every team that he coaches, he gets a tattoo.
What?
I think yes.
No, legit. Go check it out.
Imagine putting on. Imagine getting a TTM logo on you.
I think with Black Leopard, TTM, and Chipa United, the owners have been emotional with their monies. They're looking at their pockets. And Pella, remember when you get relegated, you lose a big chunk of a grant. Yeah? It's over $1 million of grant money, and you're going down to 500,000. Is it 500,000 that you get in the NFD? So I think they get too emotional about their monies and like.
No,
hey,
but TTM now.
Like I was saying, the inconsistencies of the coaches down there. A coach comes in, coaches for 2 days, and then they get fired. When do the players get the time to actually get to play a certain game that they are used to? Because they play in this game 2 days later, there's a new coach introducing something new, and they have to get the ball rolling with that.
Exactly.
So I think
exactly,
I don't see them coming back. TTM, they might just, if they're getting paid. But Chipa, I would really love to see Chipa going down, because what Chipa has been doing the past 10 years is making a mockery of South African football. The guy he tried to bring back, look, he's a plain racist. And I won't sugarcoat that. He's a plain racist, and I'm really glad that he won't be back in South African football. And I commend SAFA for taking the stance that they take, in that they won't support any team that bring him back in terms of getting them a work permit. So like Chipa United, can they just go? Maybe Chipa will learn a lesson in terms of what he's doing to South African football. And with Baroka,
what's your people Baroka?
No, my thing with Baroka is that
it's a problem against Kaizer Chiefs.
Their owner, he mentors everywhere. Spokesperson, owner. So if he can stop running his team like a spaza shop, I think they can be a formidable team, because we know Baroka is a giant killer, and they've been in the league for the past 10 years. But what have they been doing in the league for the past 10 years? Nothing. So
They
if
took
we
the
can
league away
get
from
this
Chiefs
structured
last season.
properly-
That's what they did.
Hey.
Hey, don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Stop being
Don't do that.
abusive, man.
You asked the
Stop being
question and I
abusive.
answered.
But if the owner can just get his structures properly, I think Baroka can be a great team. But in terms of relegation this season, I think Black Clippers, like Mohau said, I think also Chipa might just be on the playoff spot. And in the top 8, Jackie, who do you see in the top 8?
Oh wow.
Sundown.
Okay. Hey, okay, what do you mean, okay.
yes.
Okay,
Sundowns
Sundowns.
1, Sundowns 2, Sundowns 3, Sundowns 4.
And then your problem. Okay, I think you have a problem. Sundowns number 1, ne?
Okay.
Amazulu number 2,
Okay.
Orlando Pirates number 3,
Okay.
Super Sport number 4,
Okay.
Golden Arrows number 5,
Okay.
Morocco Souls number 6,
Okay.
then Stellenbosch number 7,
Okay.
Violence.
and Cape Town City number 8.
I saw that one coming.
Violence.
No, but did you expect me to mention Chiefs? Mara, like, I'm not gonna
No, but
do this myself.
the last 3 teams, Jay, you are just saying.
In any
No, but
order.
like,
I'm just saying, TS Galaxy, do you think they'll do good? Do you think they'll play around the zone that they're in right now? I see they're sitting on number 8, or do you think they'll go down?
TS Galaxy
I
is
think-
going
I
to
think-
stay there.
Yeah, I think they might take the 9th spot or one and then. Then Chiefs will end probably 12 or 13, somewhere there.
Okay.
Mark, your thoughts on this one? Hey. Violence.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just to Zenbauer actually coached Hamburg SV's reserve team.
I knew it.
Check myself.
That sounds
I
much
knew it. There's
better.
no way.
But I think top 8 probably, like with the exception of TS Galaxy, I think will probably remain the same. Then it's just gonna be a toss up with probably the, I don't know, Kaizer Chiefs, Galaxy, Stellenbosch. But I think largely the top 7 is gonna remain in the top 8. So I don't see that changing.
All right, gents. Oh, thank you very much. It's been a beautiful episode. Any closing words? I'm only taking 2. We are out of time. Hands up. Anybody wants to speak?
Chiefs
All I
are
am
winning
saying,
this weekend.
Huh? Horoya
Chiefs
is
are
winning
winning
this
this
weekend.
weekend.
Oh, I
Chiefs.
think Horoya is
Kaizer
winning.
Chiefs.
Horoya. Okay. Right.
Kaizer
All right.
Chiefs.
What are your closing words?
I'll just ask the listeners to actually subscribe on the YouTube channel, and also to follow and subscribe on all other streaming sites. It's at the Banter Club SA.
Thank you very much. I
No
thought you were about
comment,
to. I thought you were about to ask.
suggestion.
I thought you were about to ask Mark for his address so he can send the jersey. But I hear you. All right. Don't forget to subscribe. Sendela.
You do ask, I know shops accept lay-by. Maybe I should consider the lay-by situation.
Start now, Chief.
I'm sending a proof of residence.
All right, gentlemen.
You're
Thank you
crazy.
very much. It's been another beautiful episode of the Banter Club SA. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification button so you can get notified each and every single time we have a brand new episode. And it's a wrap. See you same time, same place next week. Peace.
Gabrielo.
Tell your grandma.
Sundown, so okay, sangomeng utor makosi.
Join us every week on the Banter Club.